marketing. So so I have been in social beat for 4 years now, and while I am really passionate about digital marketing, the one thing that really excites me in the domain of digital marketing is particularly content marketing. This is essentially because the entire idea behind content marketing itself is to add value to the user and attract them to the brand based on the valuable information that you're giving them. So, which is why we come to our topic, which is the art of blogging, because blogs are mainly like the biggest part of the website where you share a lot of information with the user based on their search intent. So yeah, let's just get into the agenda of today's session.
Sure.
So what I'll be doing is I'll first explain what exactly a blog is. While a lot of us know the term and are very familiar with it, it's important to understand what exactly it is, the purpose of it, and what's the objective behind starting a blog. And then I'll also get into how to start your blog, which is a little bit like the technical aspect of basically getting your page up. And then we'll go into a few ways of how to optimize the blog that you've created. And then, of course, the Q&A session. Yeah, so let's get right into it. First of all, what is a blog and what is the purpose of blogging? So basically, a blog is a page on a website that's updated regularly, and the content that is updated with is based on user intent and search queries that are mostly used by the audience persona of the brand. So while I will be talking, I'm talking about blogging in general, which can be associated both with like personal blogging and blogging for a brand. But most of my examples are going to be based on how content marketing has worked for brands through blogs. So if you have any questions, you can always let me know. So what are the typical features of a blog? First of all, it's written in an informal and conversational style. Now this is sort of a given, right? Because you are giving users the information that they want, and it's very top of the funnel marketing, and you're basically targeting them in all the stages of awareness, whether it is like about whether it is even about knowing about the brand, the services that you're offering, and everything based on what value we are providing. So maybe let me just explain this with an example. Now, for example, now if you are a real estate brand and you're starting a blog, now a lot of people make the common mistake of starting writing blogs all about themselves, like why are we the best real estate developer, and what are the best features of our this new property that's come up. But what they don't understand is users don't really want to know that directly. They don't even know how to reach this blog of yours if you're just going to be talking about yourself. Instead of that, if you change your entire perspective and start writing blogs on what they are looking for, what are the best residential places to invest in the city, or what are the amenities you need to look for while buying a project. So that those are more user centric rather than product centric, and these are search queries that actually have a lot of volume, and there are a lot of people, like hundreds and thousands of people looking for this query on Google every month. So writing blogs based on this has much more better results than talking about the brand. So that's where talking to them in an informal and conversational style works a lot. And then comes the kind of content itself you have in your blogs. Now a lot of us think like, okay, a blog means typically what? It's like all going to be just chunks of text. And a lot of us even think it's boring, right? Like, who's going to read so much? But what we also have to understand is not all readers or users are, that not all of them are readers. They basically are visual learners as well. And we need to cater to them as well. So it's important to make sure that your blog has a lot of visual elements like pictures, videos, gifs, and you can even try other forms of interactive content styles like polls, quizzes, calculators, and all that. So any kind of interactive tool which takes in an input and gives gives out information based on the inputs given by the user. These are all like, great winning strategies in content marketing. And then another typical feature of a blog is it shows information in a reverse chronological order. So this is not, I mean, it's not always true. Like you can, have the blog which is performing the best, featured on top and all that. But then since, this page is something that's updated regularly, a lot of the content is just ordered and structured in such a way that you see the top performing ones or the most recently uploaded ones first, and then you can go down the archive and see the other blogs. Now, moving on to the purpose behind blogging. Now, a lot of us have already, I mean, we already know that, blogging is a very top of the funnel marketing, and it's mainly to create awareness about the brand. But what are the other, basic objectives and the purposes behind blogging? One of it is that it provides great exposure and boosts your search engine rankings. So this again, let me just reiterate what I just explained. Because you basically plan your content strategy based on search intent, by creating content based on high volume keywords, you're automatically increasing your chance to, appear higher as rankings on Google search. And then it gives you an opportunity to build trust and loyalty with your audience. So again, this is because you are posting consistent content that adds value to them. So anything that's long term and adds value automatically builds trust and loyalty, which again is great for the brand or, the individual blogger. And third thing is it provides free, valuable, and helpful information. So anything that's free is automatically great, right? And a lot of us automatically turn to Google for most of our queries. So since content marketing and blogging in particular answers those queries, it's the best way to attract audiences towards your brand. And this indirectly also helps in, basically structuring those buying decisions, because they have already like learned so much from your blog and have already got that your blog has already built that customer trust. So it really aids in the consumers moving towards your brand when it comes to making a decision to buy. And but there are also things that we need to keep in mind on what blogs don't do. The most important thing to keep in mind is that blogs don't directly sell your product. This is again going back to, blogs being user centric and not product centric. So things that it's not an ad. You can't directly talk about your product and expect them to convert. The aim behind this again is to raise awareness and just basically push users down the marketing funnel towards conversion and not conversion itself. And then it does not appeal to as many readers as possible. Now, this might be a bit confusing because you'll be like, how can it, if it's not appealing to readers, why am I even writing the blog? But what's important here is you need to think of your, user persona. You need to think completely about what your audience in particular wants to read. So again, going back to the real estate example, here we are targeting home buyers. We are not targeting, people who are looking for like things to do in the city during the weekend. No, like we need to see particularly the people who are looking for projects in particular localities and what exactly they need, whether it is the documents needed to, buy a property, or the things that they should not do, and how to pick the right, developer, stuff like that. So it's all like really focused on the user persona. And then it does not work on quantity basis. Yes, a lot of us think that, okay, now since blogs provide so much value, why don't we just like keep posting maybe every single day? Yes, you can post, that's also okay, but you have to focus a lot on quality rather than quantity. So if you're posting one really great in-depth blog per week, That's always better than posting 5 really short, not much, not that great, and not very user-centric blogs per week. Because again, users won't be, coming towards your website based on those blogs. They will see the value that you add, and accordingly, click on your website. Then we are moving on to how to set up a blog page on your website. So this is a bit, this is the technical aspect of setting up the page. So the most important thing you need to know here is about content management systems. So now, what exactly is a content management system, or a CMS? So this basically is a software through which you can upload your blog without the need to know coding. So you'll have, like, a place where you can put up the content, a place to put up the pictures, gifs, videos, whatever you want to put. You have a place to put up the title, the meta title, basically how your blog is going to be showing up on a search engine and all that. You just take care of everything and then you click upload. So that's what a content management system does. It basically integrates with the existing website that you have, but just makes your life easier, because posting blogs will be easier through this. Now, the most common CMS use, most of us know, is WordPress. Now, but in WordPress also, or any other CMS, what you need to know is first see what kind of CMS you want to opt for. There are two solutions. One is hosted, another one is self-hosted. So what's the difference? So a hosted CMS, let's take WordPress itself as example. So this would be WordPress.com. So over here, when you're starting a blog through WordPress.com, your blog will essentially be hosted on WordPress.com. So you'll have your blog name .wordpress.com, and that's where you can put up content. But at the same time, a self-hosted blog is basically when you already have a website and you want to start a blog page on that. So in this case, it will be hosted on your website. And for this, you can use WordPress.org. So which one is better, hosted or self-hosted? We recommend opting for self-hosted blog solutions, because this way you are hosting your blog on your website and it's not on WordPress.com. So, whatever your website is, www.brandname.com/blog. That is where your blog is going to be hosted. And then the other important thing is to check the foldering structure of the URL. Now, a lot of people, even if they are hosting it, on their website, they do the common mistake of having a subdomain. So when I say subdomain, it means it would be www.blogname.brandname.com. But what would be ideal would be www.brandname.com/blog. So you notice the difference between these two. The first one is a subdomain and the second one is a subfolder. Now, what's important? Why is it important to have a subfolder? Is because when you have a subfolder, all the traffic that's coming to your website will not be, it will be like accumulative, and like your blog page will be part of your website. But with a subdomain, your blog page is sort of not part. It's like two different websites. So you'll be having two different tracking codes to track the performance of to both the pages. So it's sort of like, it is not part of your website basically. So it's important to have it as a subfolder and not a subdomain. And then comes enabling a Yoast plugin. Now, a Yoast plugin is basically a plugin that you can put on WordPress, through which you can update the title and the description of your blog post. So when I say title and description, so these are basically the meta tags. So when anyone is performing a search on Google, and if you have a blog for that particular query on Google, so your blog will come up on Google, right? Hopefully on the first page. And that's when, and the title and the description is what we are referring to as, the content that you're going to be putting in through the Yoast plugin. So it's important to enable this. And then the fourth important thing is to track your performance through Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics, as we all know, that's basically a platform used to track, all the important metrics of your blog page and the website itself on the whole. So it's important to make sure that your analytics tracking code is enabled on your website, so that analytics will be able to track the performance of these individual blogs and give you a thorough report on how well it's been performing, what you can do better, and what you should be doing. Yeah, so I'm moving on. So then comes, so now you have put up your blog. You also know the kind of strategy you need to put in while creating your blog. But how do you optimize your blog page further? So let's start with the most important point, which is being consistent with your content. So if you remember, this is something that we spoke about in the previous slides as well. It's really important that you basically build that equation, that relationship with your audience by providing them with content on a regular basis. So this can be as regular as maybe 2 blogs per week to even maybe 1 or 2 detailed blogs per month. But again, as I mentioned, it needs to be more, you need to focus more on the quality than the quantity. So why do you need to be consistent? It helps in gaining thought leadership, because as a brand or as an individual blogger, you are basically seeing what your users are searching for and giving them that information. So you're striking a conversation with them. So it helps in basically uplifting your brand as like a thought leader in that particular domain. It helps you build your subscriber list. Now, a subscriber list is great because these are the people who are constantly engaging with your content. But people don't subscribe to you in the first time itself that they read your content. It takes time. You build that relationship and then they subscribe to you because you don't want to lose out on the really valuable content that you're giving. So it's really great because blogs help in building that subscriber list. And then it creates an inventory of content to promote on social media. Now, all of us know that cross promotion is really important. And while you might be having a separate content calendar, for your social media handles, your blogs itself can be part of that, and you can promote them on social media. So that's a great way to, attract more audiences towards your blog page and your brand itself on the whole. And then it's crucial to building good domain authority. Now, domain authority is basically a score given to your website. It's on 100. And this score is given based on various factors. So the few of the factors are basically the number of backlinks you have to your website, the quality of the content that's there on your website. So this is also, assessed based on the amount of traffic you get, the number of clicks, impressions, all that. So basically, if you perform well, your domain authority goes high. So it's being consistent with your content plays a huge role in increasing your domain authority. And higher the domain authority, the better your chances of beating your competitors and performing better and just ranking higher on search. And so, what really is a good consistency? Anything between 3 to 4 blogs per month is good. But again, it comes back to quality rather than quantity. So, if you notice this graph on the right hand side, so the bottom is about the consistency, and the vertical axis is about the quality. So while 54% of people like today, they focus more on consistency but not much on quality. So that again is a problem. While even if they increase, like, and 27% of them are focusing, sorry, I said the wrong way, 54% of them are focusing more on quality than consistency, which again is wrong, because people need to know when they can expect your next post. And then, but even if you're focusing more on consistency and less on quality, that again is a no-no, because what is the point being consistent when your content is not being valuable enough? So the sweet spot here is this 19%, where they are being consistent as well, and providing high quality content to their users. So this is where it really creates a really solid connection with your user database. Next comes experimenting with different types of content. Now, as we had mentioned earlier, also like blogging, it's a huge misconception. A lot of people think that okay, it's just like chunks of text, but in reality, blogs with images and infographics get so much more views, like 94% and 12% in the case of infographics, which itself shows us that when you provide users with what they like, they will automatically engage with you. So before we get into things to keep in mind while experimenting with different content, let's take a look at the various types of content itself. So first we have images. That this is apart from text, obviously. So we first have images. So images are great because like even if you're scrolling through the blog, you just see the images and you get a rough idea of what the blog is about. And then you have videos. Video marketing is great right now because a lot of people love consuming videos, including me. So even if your strategy is to just convert each and every blog into a video, and have the video of it in the blog page, which is embedded through your YouTube channel, this is also a great strategy to increase traffic both on YouTube and on Google search. And then we've got infographics. Infographics are great because they just provide like an entire like visual. They just visualize the process or the steps, or anything that's whatever your blog is about. So, and also using images and infographics increases your chances of coming up on Google search, to Google image search. So that's also great. And then screenshots also are great, especially if you're explaining the process of any kind of like online step to step manual that you're going through. And then presentation works a lot, especially if play through SlideShare and backlink through LinkedIn to you. That's also great. And then you've got memes, which is very new age, and yeah, it just adds a lot of fun and like humorous element to your content. So now that we know what are the different kinds of content that we can experiment with, what are the small things that you need to keep in mind while experimenting with this? So first of all, it's important to add alt text to images. Now, what exactly is alt text? Alt text is like a name you give. Basically, it's the name you give to an image. And so when Google crawls the image, it reads the name to know what the image is about. So this helps us because first of all, it helps in making it gives out signals to the algorithm to show that the content that we are providing has different kinds of content, which is a huge win-win for Google. And also it helps on in increasing our appearance on image search, which again is it is a place where a lot of users search for stuff. So that's there. And then using interactive tools, polls, calculators, all these like interactive tools is not one thing that was covered here, but it's a great value add because the biggest value added by interactive tools is that it gives users the content based on the inputs that they give. So this is like literally tailor made and customized based on what they want to look for. So that's great. And also it helps in generating leads. While taking inputs from the user, you can ask for their email ID and there you have a good lead. So that, and as I had mentioned, right, converting your blogs into informative videos also increases your visibility on YouTube, which is the second most used search engine in the world right now. Yeah. Then comes amplifying your content. So now you create all this content, but what is the point if you don't amplify it? Like I understand that like your content is created based on search intent, and people should automatically be coming, from Google to your blog page. But it doesn't. That's not enough because so many people have taken up this strategy. So you really need to think out of the box and need to think of like how exactly you can amplify your content to make sure it reaches the right target audience. So the easiest way to amplify it is to share it on social handles. So by sharing your content on social handles, you're basically attracting, like just widening your audience and just sort of like steering them towards your website. And another important thing here is to focus on your entire backlinking strategy. Now, what exactly is a backlink? A backlink is basically a link given to your website from an external website. You can see the image here, it's quite illustrative. So backlinks are great because they you can choose the other websites, external websites, where a lot of your target audience is engaging with the content in, and then link your website there. So the chances of them clicking on your website and the chances of them being highly relevant to your brand are both really high. So that's why building backlinks is really important. So how exactly do you find these external websites, right? You can easily find them through forums and other like discussion, like basically these websites where all these group discussions happen. So anything that's connected to your brand. For example, now if you have an online consultation app, and you've created a blog on maybe something to do with pregnancy, that there's so many forums out there in which, like, they talk about all the important things, right, from signs of pregnancy to what they have to expect, a c-section and natural birth, so many questions out there. So all you have to do is go there, like, and be active in those forums, build your profile, and give your opinion on certain questions, and link back to your blog. So that way, the audiences that are coming to your website also are highly relevant. And then you have image submission sites. So these are sites like, for example, let's take Pinterest itself. Like, these sites are there's a huge organic traffic, huge traffic itself, that's experienced by these kind of websites. So linking back from these websites is always great. And then again, converting your blogs into videos. So not only are you getting, like, you are really, like, your visibility on YouTube increases, you can also link videos in various external sites, which works really well. And then opt for paid backlinks through guest posts. So here, what happens is a lot of people now, have started reaching out to external websites to get backlinks. So this works especially well if the external website you're reaching out to has a higher domain authority, which is the score we spoke about a few slides back. So websites with higher domain authority, getting a link back from their website will be great for you, because the link juice really flows to your website, and Google sees that as a really positive signal to rank your content higher. So now, since a lot of people have reached out to these websites, like, there is some kind of like a paid promotions that you'll have to, like, a sort of a deal that you'll have to strike with them. So for a particular link, so it can be anything between 5,000 to 7,000 for one link. But so, like, opting for these kind of paid measures to get a backlink will really help you in the long term, because those backlinks will not only generate traffic to your website, but it'll also give positive signals to Google. And then what you can also do is experiment with link exchanges. So again, going back to the example what I had mentioned about having a blog on pregnancy, right? And if there's another blogger who is a parenting blogger, and that blogger has written a lot of content on pregnancy, so you can strike a deal with them saying that I will mention your website in my content, and you mention my website in your content. So that way we're just helping each other. So that's a link exchange. So there are many things that, many out of the box techniques that we can think of to basically amplify the content. This way, we just make sure that we are there in the right place at the right time when users engage with content on different other platforms. Then comes tracking your performance. So yes, now you have created your blog, you've taken care of everything, and like, you're getting good traffic as well. But it's important for you to track and see how it's going. So fine, maybe initially you get a good boost in traffic, but it's also important to maintain that. So how do you do that? So there are many tools online that can help you out. There's Ahrefs, SEMrush, Google Analytics, Search Console are the most preferred ones. Now, tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush also give you, data on how your competitors are doing. What are the rankings? Like, what are the backlinks? What are the different strategies that your competitors are using? So that also will give you like good insights on what you can do in your content strategy. And Google Analytics and Search Console gives you insights on how your content is performing. So it gives you insights on the organic traffic, the rankings, even the referral traffic, And there's much more, right? From like, the clicks you're getting, the impressions that each post is giving, the drop in positions, and you can change the date range and see how you were performing. Is it better? Is it getting worse? What are the particular pages that are driving traffic? And based on that, you can also alter your strategy based on the pages that are performing. So whatever strategy you start off with, it is not set on stone. You need to make sure that you alter it and just basically optimize it to um, so that from the 5 pages that are performing well, you can increase that to 10, 15, and much more. And it's also important to be patient with your results. So SEO is not something that happens overnight. While yes, it shouldn't take too much time, but you need to wait it out for at least like a month or two to see results. So these will be gradual, but it will definitely be like increasing as the time goes. So especially if you use really well optimization techniques and keep changing your content strategy based on what's working and what's not. Yeah. And then it's also important to look into the user experience that you're offering. So now, if you guys have noticed, like a lot of what I talk about is about being user centric, right? It's not about the brand. You're not talking about yourself. You're letting you're basically giving information to the user based on what they're looking for. So it's not just about the information you're giving. It's also about how you're giving it, the experience that you're giving them. So what's important is, first off, you start by creating your content strategy based on in-depth keyword research. This is also something that we discussed. Keyword Planner is great, while there are many other keyword research tools that will help you it just gives you ideas on the different kinds of queries that people are searching for. And then it's also important that how your blogs are showcased on the blog page. You can't just have blogs one below the other and just expect users to just like find their way through. It's important that you make it as seamless, as easy as possible for them. So one thing that always works is categorizing your blogs. This is great because when a user reaches your blog page, through the categories of the blogs, they get an idea of the vast amount of content that you actually have. And it basically increases the potential of increases the time spent on your page, because they know that there's so much other types of content to engage with. And it brings down your bounce rate, because they will definitely click on something to see what else is there in your website. So yes, categorizing blogs is always works. For example, if you are a play school website and you have a blog for them, you can have blogs on child nutrition, early education. You can have blogs on play school related blogs. So all this activities, summer activities and all that. So all this, like, basically it just shows the user that you have thought of like everything that a young parent basically Googles about. So that. And then add a form for lead generation. This is really important, right? Because while blogs are mainly for top of the market, top of the funnel marketing, it is important to bring them down the funnel towards converting. So add a lead generation form there. This way you can increase your subscriber list also, and basically get really high quality relevant leads to call back and convert. And then follow a solid link building strategy. So now when I say link building here, of course backlinks are really important. Each and every blog on your website needs to have a good backlinking strategy, but it's also important to link to other pages on your website. So there are many ways to link to other pages. One is through the content itself. Make sure that you have linked interlinked to other blogs, other service pages, and all the other pages that are important. So this way, even when users are reading your content, there are chances of them clicking on it and reducing your bounce rate. And another way to make sure that that you link other pages is through like visually interlinking it, right? To the right, you can have all the recent posts. in the bottom you can have all your top performing posts and or related posts and all that. So that way they know that there's so much more to read. So that, and there are many other like really simple and effective elements, like a few of them are listed down here. Adding a last updated, so this way people know that your content is extremely relevant and it's not something you put up 4 5 years back and have not touched since then. And then adding how many minutes read, this is something that's very common these days, like 5 minute read, 7 minute read. So it just shows that you've taken into account the entire user experience and you just want to provide them content that's really easy to consume. Adding a comment section, so it's a two-way street, right? You don't just give them information, you also want to know what they think about it. So adding a comment section, replying back to those comments are all great to just maintain that relationship with the user. Sticky share buttons. So yes, they found great content on your website, they need to share it, right? That way even you will be increasing the traffic to your website that way. And then adding about the author, so these are simple elements that just personalizes the information really well. Talking about the author, especially if it is medical, something to do with medicine or some medical conditions. Writing a little bit about the doctor, or whoever has written the content, it just makes it more authoritative, and it's a great signal for Google as well. And also providing snackable content. So I had mentioned, right, the more in-depth and like informative your content is, the better. But again, not everyone will read it, even if they want to. Most of them will scroll it. If they have the time, they will read it based on how many minute read it is. So just providing like a synopsis, or like after every chapter just saying, okay, so what have we learned, something like that. It just gives them, just like teaches them what the blog is about, and just like urges them to read further. So yeah, those are a few of the techniques that you can follow. Yeah. And then comes including pillar pages in your strategy. Now, before this, let me just explain what a pillar page is. So, a pillar page is basically one single page which has really in depth content on an umbrella term, which basically is a search query with really high user intent. So let me just explain this with an example here. So you can see a picture here. So a pillar over here, this would be a pillar for a real estate client. So you're creating a pillar on home remodeling. Now, home remodeling itself is a high volume keyword. A lot of people are searching for it. And typically, the focus keyword of a pillar will be easily in thousands, maybe around like 4 to 5 thousand. So now this pillar is about home modeling. So the entire page is designed in such a way that it's sort of like an ebook. It has chapters and each chapter is clickable. And when you click on that chapter, it goes to that part of the page that you want to read. So this way, it's not like they have to read everything. They can read what they're interested in. So let's take a look at the various chapters that this particular pillar can have. You can have mistakes to avoid when remodeling your house, home remodeling ideas, home remodeling, architect versus design build, best time to complete a home remodel. So if you notice, all these are topics connected to home remodeling, and each one of them itself have a lot of search volume. So what happens is, since all this content is there on one single page, it increases the chance of this page to rank. It, like, the page basically ranks for like thousands of keywords at once. So that's why it's great. And another reason why this pillar pages really work is because in these individual chapters that are there, each of these chapters, the content, like, it's linked to the other various blogs on the page. So all the various blogs that you have built over the past 3 to 4 months can all be interlinked on this page. So basically it's like this short content marketing tool, which will definitely work, because not only will it rank for so many keywords, but users who come here, they basically engage with other content, other pages on your website as well, which is again a great signal for Google. And also, a single pillar page, it basically has content which targets users based on all the three stages of the marketing funnel. uh, you have awareness based content, which is basically all the different chapters that are there on the pillar. And then you have um, consideration. So consideration is basically through the different tools. So it's not just blogs, right? You can have tools, you can have polls, you can have calculators, you can have different kind of content on a pillar. So so this helps them in consideration as well. And then you have conversions, because a pillar page also has a form. So through this you can get leads as well. So it's just like a really like holistic, and it's a great content marketing tool um, to have in your strategy. So ideally, what you should be doing is creating blogs, like maybe create blogs for 3 months based on creating a pillar or the umbrella topic of all the blogs that were created in the past 3 months. So over here, you should be having like the fourth month is when you decide to create a pillar on home remodeling. So in the past 3 months, you ideally should be creating blogs on all these topics, so that ultimately when you're creating the pillar in the fourth month, you have all these blogs to interlink in your content. So yeah. So those were mostly the strategies that you should be using in your while creating a blog page to attract more consumers, and also just like build credibility and brand trust.
Thank you so much, Aisha. That was very insightful. I think we do have a few questions from the YouTube viewers.
Sure.
So even I do have some questions as well. Uh, so the first question would be like, how do you decide your niche areas? And like when you don't have a particular subject or a topic, like how do you decide what to write about?
Yeah, so as I said, like it all goes back to what the brand is about. Now, okay, even if you're not having a brand to promote through this, and if you're doing it for yourself, it is important to see what you're passionate about, whether it is travel, food, beauty, health, fitness. What you can also do is you can maybe check on keyword planner, what are the queries that have the most search volume, and based on that you can decide your niche. But it ultimately comes down to what you are passionate about, because only then it will be sustainable and it will be long term.
Understand. Following to that, even I do have one question. Like, we do get to have some writer's blog. Even if we are passionate about something, we get stuck in some point, as in we don't have the topic of what to write about, and like how to identify the right trend to connect with the audience.
Yeah, it's important. It's very important to be, on the top of your game and basically see what is trending, what kind of content they like consuming, especially in your niche. Now, like for example, if you are a health blogger, there was this brief time when size zero was completely in trend. So you can see what people want to know about. Like I'm sure at that time, the search queries for what is size zero, what are the ideal measurements, or how do I get size zero. Like just again, it again goes back to doing your research and seeing what kind of queries are picking up on Google, and accordingly creating a content strategy. As for writer's block, well, that is something that's personal. Like you either take a break or maybe read something else. That really works for me. Reading someone else's blog, even if it's on the same topic that I'm writing, just reading that, it just gives you a different perspective on like what else you can cover, or what are the different ways in which you can, say out the message that you're trying to say.
And one more thing that I want to ask, we were talking about the quality and quantity part. So, what do you think would be the ideal interval for, posting the blogs?
Yeah. So, as I'd mentioned, 3 to 4 blogs per month is a good consistency. But then again, it comes down to what exactly you're posting. Because, because just posting 3 to 4 is actually not hard. But if you really focus on the value you're adding, if you're doing your homework to see what, what are the keywords that are trending currently, or what are the supporting keywords that can be added in the blogs, or even basically what is trending right now, like on social, or like just generally in your niche. Just like you need to have keep your eye open to know what kind of content you should be posting, and the quality of it, in order to sustain in you know the niche.
There was one more thing that I want to ask. I think it would be useful for the viewers as well. So, for someone who's interested in blogging, but then like they don't know where to start and they would be puzzled. So, like, what would you recommend them to as a beginner?
Well, as a beginner, again, it's important for you to find your niche first. So even if you're new to blogging, you definitely will be having some kind of direction of what kind of content you want to put out, right? So it's really important that you find that calling, and like you put down your strategy based on that. So yeah, while doing this, you can check competitors. You can check also what to do different, because if you're doing something which is quite common, like maybe fitness, or even beauty, or even technology, that's something that's quite common. So you can see what can be your USP. You know, for example, I recently saw a cooking video. Cooking videos itself are quite common, but I saw a cooking video, like a series in which it's like the mom is teaching, but it's a kid who's making the food. So that is something different, right? So see what you can do differently and what exactly will be your USP.
Understandable. Uh, we do have some more questions from the YouTubers. I mean, YouTube viewers, which is for brands, is it necessary to have your own personal blog?
Definitely, it is very important for brands to have their own blogs, because, as I had mentioned, blogs are basically, it's a great tool for upper funnel marketing. So that's the only way you can raise awareness about your brand, by not talking about yourself directly, but by talking about what users are searching for. So it's a great tool for brands to have to increase their awareness.
There is one question from Vasanta on YouTube. I think she's passionate about life and on blog about life and nature. So I think she's not a fan of social media, but she wants to, make it popular in a different way, like how to, sustain in the market.
Well, Vasanta, first of all, I mean, I get it. Even if you're not like a fan of social media, it really helps in amplifying your blog. So I would like highly persuade you to, start your own handle, or maybe just have a handle of the blog itself, if not your personal handle. Have it on social media, and make sure that you, whatever blogs you're posting on your website, that you post on social as well, because it works really well. Apart from that, make sure you look into your backlinks. That's most important. So what was the blog that she has?
She's yet to start, I think. She's gonna create a poetry blog on life and nature.
Yeah, so it's a poetry blog. So there should be there will be a lot of forums out there, a lot of discussion panels, and even places, like basically where, just think where your audience will be going to consume content which is similar to yours, and make sure that your content is available there. So that's basically the strategy behind backlinking.
Oh, okay. One more question from my end. So, like, how we can optimize, the change in algorithm for social media with our blogging? Like, Instagram has been introducing a lot of things. So,
Yes. So that's great, right? Because every platform is evolving. So like the various steps, the various optimizing techniques also that you're going to be applying should evolve. So now, for example, in Instagram, good old days were the times when you just had the post itself, right? Now you can put it up with stories and reels. So like basically, as the platforms evolve, you also need to see how you can start posting in such a way that more users see your content on those particular platforms. So this is just a simple coming up on Insta stories with a swipe up option to visit the website, or putting up all the posts with like link in the bio. All these are like just simple techniques that work really well.
Okay. Thank you. And one more last question. So, do you have any particular tips on lifestyle and travel blogs?
Well, one tip that I can give is you definitely need to, include videos in your blogs, because lifestyle and travel, like that's like the niche itself is about, the experience you give to your readers, and the best way to convey your message will be through a video. So I would highly urge you to start off with YouTube SEO, open a YouTube channel, and have like long form content, because a lot of people, when they think of travel, they just think that they can show the place basically, so that users get an experience of the place. But what you need to do is think in a user perspective: how to get there, what are the things you need to pack, what are the things, like what are the things that you probably will not think of, but like things to keep in mind basically. So basically think of yourself as the user, what are the hurdles you faced, and bring out that in your videos. So that will be great, because you're adding value to the user, because you yourself are a user. So yes, that would be my tip.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope all of your questions are answered and they would have found it really useful. Thank you so much for taking your time to, bring
Anytime,
up a
it's my pleasure. Yeah.
great presentation. Yeah. And I request the viewers to fill in the feedback form that we've given so we would be able to improve in our future